What's up, fragrant world? Welcome back to another Stay Fresh production. Before we start the list, just want to give you a friendly reminder about the Fresh Fam. If you don't know what that is, then maybe you haven't heard about my Patreon, which is relatively new. It's blossoming and I'm really excited about it. Me and the current members of the Fresh Fam, we've been having some great interactions over there. Again, there's a lot of exclusive content and it is a way for you to support me as a content creator to be able to focus on just this, on creating videos about fragrances that I like to talk about and hopefully you like to hear about. So that's the whole purpose of it. If you want to help out, there's many ways to help, from the smallest to the largest. Check out the link in the description. Please, at least just take a look. That's all I could ask. Thank you. Okay, so today we're talking about elegant summer night fragrances. And these are fragrances that, as per the name, are going to be more on the elegant side. So they're going to have a sweetness to them for one. There might be even a little bit of a musky or some kind of dark quality to the fragrance. That's not always the case, but that is a big factor too that can be present in an elegant scent. They might have a little bit of a freshness to them as well, so they are inviting when you first spray them on. And again, it is the summer nights, so depending on where you are, it is still going to be warm, maybe a little bit breezy, perhaps even a little bit humid. So these fragrances effectively could be worn in the autumn, like in terms of regular autumn wear, but they also translate pretty well to a summer evening when it's not too warm, but there's a little bit of warmth in the air to let these fragrances come alive. So let's get started. Here at number 10, an unlikely choice, one that I have talked about recently in a video I did talking about my fragrance guilty pleasures. And this was one of them. And this is one that a lot of men would shy away from because of the name, maybe even because of the scent itself. It is marketed for women, but I do enjoy wearing it. And obviously, ladies, if you like to wear these kind of fragrances, you can check this one out too. From the house of Argos, this is their Parfum. I think this is a beautiful fragrance to wear anytime, really. That's what it's intended for, but as an elegant summer night out scent, I think this is wonderful. It is quite floral and sweet, a little bit of an aromatic touch, quite a gamut of florals in here. I'm not going to name all the notes, but again, it has a sweetness to it. It has this kind of heady floral nature. It has a freshness, but it has some richness to it. It has some depth. And again, guys, if you're afraid of scents like this, just keep in mind that a lot of women actually like these kinds of fragrances on men, believe it or not. So this is at least worth sampling. If you want to check this out, you can get their sample pack, which I'll link down below. If you want to take the plunge, you can even pick yourself up a bottle. I will have my code down there, which you can copy and paste. It's fresh10. That's going to get you 10% off your entire purchase, so make sure you check this out. So that's Argos Parfum. Here at number 9, this is a new fragrance to my collection. This was just sent to me by the brand themselves. We're talking about Parfums Vintage. Boo me all you like, yes. I know there's a lot of you that don't really care for Parfums Vintage, and that's okay. But I will say that it is this realm of the fragrances that they make that I can really appreciate. We're not talking about an Aventus clone here. We're talking about them recreating a fragrance that you can no longer purchase anymore, at least not for a reasonable price. This, again, from the bottle, you can't tell anything because they all kind of look the same. The label does change when we're dealing with the Pineapple Vintage line or the Aventus inspired line, but this is called Maverick. You probably can't see that. This is actually a clone of a discontinued fragrance from the house of Yves Saint Laurent, and it's called M7 Fresh. Now, one that's not talked about very much. Honestly, I have not smelled the original. I had heard about it, but I also heard it was discontinued, and when I saw some of the prices on eBay, it was an immediate pass. But this makes it more accessible, and if this is what it smelled like, then this is really good stuff. I got it on my skin here. It has a little bit of an oud quality, similar to the original M7. And if this gets close to what M7 Fresh was, then this is something to check out. We do have oud in here, but it is mixed very nicely with some ginger, a nice bright kicking ginger. It literally will kind of smack you in the nose if you're not careful. We do get some grapefruit in here, which adds freshness. Mandarin orange is also pretty prominent. It gets quite musky, and it's just overall fresh, sweet, citrusy, and woody, and spicy. And it's very elegant stuff. And this is a great kind of maybe warm weather version of the original M7. I think that was the intention behind it. And this is a great way you can check out that scent profile without dropping too much money on the original. Again, this is called Maverick. Here at number 8, from the house of Haramain, this is called Royal Stallion. I have talked about this one before, and this is a clone of Parfum de Marly Pegasus. And I gotta say, I enjoy this a little bit more than Pegasus. Pegasus is already, it's a great scent, it has great performance. This is even stronger somehow. So you don't need much of this, especially when it's still a little warm out. What this smells like, fresh, sweet, creamy almond with a bit of a metallic nature to it. It's quite unique, and it's attention grabbing for that reason. And again, when you dress it up, when there's a little bit of a breeze in the air, but it's a little warm, that freshness will thrive in the warmth, but that kind of sweetness that I like in my elegant scents, this is gonna really turn heads. One to check out. You can get it pretty inexpensively. I will have links down in the description. Here at number 7, this is a popular scent. Everyone knows this one. I do really like it. There's just others I enjoy a little bit more. But this one, it goes without saying. All year round, pretty much, especially at night. When you want to smell pleasing, this is a great one to go with. The One Eau de Parfum from Dolce & Gabbana. Beautiful tobacco amber. I think there's maybe some grapefruit in here, some cardamom. It's sweet, it's a little aromatic with some ginger as well. It's a little earthy. When it dries, it gets kind of like earthy, musky with that tobacco, but overall sweet, kind of rich, but it's not too rich. And I think that is why it does work well, even when it's a little warm out. And this is one that just simply works. I'm not gonna say much more about it. It just works. People love it. The One Eau de Parfum. Number 6, a fragrance I've talked about here and there. Doesn't get much love, and that's okay, but it is a great scent. I do think it's underrated, and it's real easy to get. It's very inexpensive, from the house of Calvin Klein. This is Euphoria Intense. And this is a beautiful, what I call aromamiento. I made that word up, so you won't find it anywhere. It's fresh, but it does have this kind of sweet richness to it. You get a lot of amber in here. This one is quite spicy, but it's also sweet and smooth. Interesting mix of notes here. I'm not gonna go over everything, but apparently there's oud in this. I don't really get much of that, but there is ginger. Again, there's amber in here, so it does have a warmth, a sweetness to it. It's just, you look at the note breakdown and it looks more complex than what you actually smell here. But it's a nice scent. It does have a little bit of depth to it, and it's great to wear at night. There's a little bit of warmth in the air. It's gonna get people's attention. That is Euphoria Intense from Calvin Klein. Okay, moving up into the top 5. Here, number 5 from the house of Burberry. One that I have reviewed a long time ago when it came out. I got rid of it, and then I reacquired it because I actually missed it, and I'm happy I have it in my collection. Relatively unique for this kind of scent, created by Francis Kirkjohn. We should all know that name. And this is from, again, Burberry. This is called Mr. Burberry. This is the Eau de Parfum. And this is a patchouli heavy scent, but it has a nice freshness to it. It's a rich, earthy patchouli, but it has this beautiful aromatic nature. You do have a bit of cardamom, which is actually also quite present. It provides a cooling, fresh spiciness to it. There's even a little bit of mint in here, but it does have a darkness to it, as per the bottle. So I love the duality. It does have a light freshness to it, again with these more aromatic notes like that mint, like that cardamom, but it does have that dark patchouli, which makes it kind of seductive, makes it a little bit more interesting, especially in the air. When you get a whiff, people will be asking about you. This is Mr. Burberry Eau de Parfum. Good stuff. and also not that expensive. At number 4, this is a staple on my channel. This is quickly becoming a favorite for many others, and this is one to check out, and it's easy to do so because you can sample it for free effectively. You just pay the cost of shipping. And this is called Zaharoff Signature Pour On. Beautiful, elegant scent. You can wear this all year round. I wouldn't wear it when it's super hot. That's why I like to wear this at night. It is kind of that, aromatic fougere category of fragrances. Fresh, spicy. Lavender is a major player, but you do have some other notes like pear, which brings a nice fruity sweetness to it, mixed in with that lavender. You got sandalwood in here. I think there's even a little bit of oud. It's complex, but it comes off very pleasing, and it is quite strong. I have oversprayed this stuff, and people are like, "Man, you smell really strong." And I'm like, okay, I'm glad you can smell me, but maybe that's not great. Anyway, check this one out, link in the description. If you've been sleeping on it, now's the time to wake up. Here at number 3, another staple on my channel. I love to wear this in the autumn, but again, as I said earlier, you can wear this on summer nights as well. From the house of John Varvatos, this is vintage. And yet again, like I've done recently, I'm not gonna say anything about it. I've talked about it to death. I have a review, which I might end up redoing at some point, but that hopefully should give you a bit of an idea if you don't know what this smells like. Very elegant stuff. And I hear that Varvatos might be filing for bankruptcy if they haven't already. I can't confirm that, but I've heard whispers here and there. If that's the case, get it now before you guys spend $300 on eBay to pick it up. Check it out. Here is number 2 from the house of Parfum de Marly. Technically a brand new release. It's a reformulation of the original, which came out a couple years ago. They improved it and made it better. And we're talking about Sedley. And Sedley, man, I gotta tell you, the magic in this fragrance is when it dries. Off top, it is a gorgeous scent. You get a lot of mint, you get a lot of citruses, lavender. It's very aromatic up top, but when it dries, man, it gets this muskiness. Now I gotta say, it is not the most natural smelling musk, but it's something that it just lingers. It gets a little earthy. It's hard to explain, but when you smell it, it kind of lingers in your nostrils a bit, and it does something chemically to you. I don't know how to explain it. You just have to smell it. There's some woods in the base. You got sandalwood, I think cedar wood, but there's also some aroma chemicals, as I said, that kind of give it that quality, that musky quality, but also improve the performance. At least that's what I think. They have improved the longevity with this. I've had people ask me, how can I know if I'm getting the new formulation, the 2020 version? Well, the easiest way to do that right now is to get it directly from Parfum de Marly. That is gonna be the best way. I know they're not cheap. And I think it only comes in this size at the moment, the 125 ml. But if you wanna just take the plunge, if you like the original but wish it lasted longer, then you might as well just pick this up. I'll have a link in the description. At least one to sample if you can, but you might have to wait a bit before you can easily sample this. And at number 1, from the house of Roja Parfums, man, this stuff is addictive. I don't know if I included this on my list. I think I did, my top 10 addictive fragrances. This is called Danger Parfum Cologne. And this, like I said, is very addictive, very elegant, something beautiful to wear at night, and especially when there's a warmth in the air. The fresh nature from the citruses and the aromatic notes is gonna really pop, and it's gonna allow people to smell you. It's gonna project a little bit, but it does have a sweet richness from some vanilla and some other things, woods. There's a very complex note breakdown here, but ultimately it comes off pretty easy to smell. It doesn't smell super complex, but it does smell kind of unique. Nothing smells exactly like this. And just per the name, it's dangerous. People gotta watch out. I love this stuff. And this is a perfect scent for the scenario that I'm talking about. Elegant summer nights. You can sample it. I'll have links in the description. Check it out. Okay, so that's my list. Elegant summer night fragrances. Now you let me know, what fragrances do you like to wear on an elegant summer night out? I want to know. Let's talk about it. And one more time, I just want to mention that your support really means a lot to me here on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing if you have. If you haven't, please consider doing so. Thank you for liking my videos. If you want to go a step further and help me continue to make content like this on a more regular basis, you can support me on Patreon. And again, there will be a link down below. There's a lot of wonderful perks that come along with becoming a member. So please check that out. And also, in light of the recent events that we're dealing with, all the protests, all the rioting, and just in general, all the unrest surrounding police brutality in America, especially towards Black people, my people, we need all the support we can get as well. I'm going to leave a few links in the description for some petitions that are currently active to create the reforms that we need in order to make this a safer and more equal place for all of us to live. So links to those things will be in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.